Hey, Daver here. Welcome to the show.
What up? This guy's Chad.
And Chandler's back as well. How we doing today, Dave?
Oh, we're doing so particularly well. Great episode of Collision, keeping me captivated with the Continental Classic as usual, per usual. Big match of the night. I didn't know which way it was going to go. Brody King, Bryan Danielson. Woo.
I was still kind of surprised at the result, which we'll get to in due time.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a treat. We also had Kingston and Daniel Garcia, another banger of a match. A star is born with Garcia.
I love him so much. I literally wrote that in my notes. Like, I love Danny. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, that dude is hilarious.
And we got Claudio versus Andrade. Another absolute banger of a match. Yeah, great night of wrestling. Let me just say that. Yeah, we'll start off here with a little bit I liked with the cold open. They kind of covered Kingston, Garcia, Claudio Andrade, Brody King, and Danielson, and then they got to Cassidy. What do you say? I don't know what this is. Pretty good stuff.
It was a good way to start after all the super serious promos and Orange Cassidy being like, I don't know what's going on, guys.
Yeah. Good stuff. But yeah, we started off the night. First match, Continental Classic Blue League match. Claudio Castagnoli with 3 points going into this versus Andrade with 3 points also.
He had 9.
Nope. Yeah. 9. I don't know why I wrote 3. 9. Chandler, did you catch the Takeshita future AEW champ sign?
That was my first note, and I wrote down, we're a long ways from that, pal. Like, and that's a very sad thing. That's why I'm scared of the Swerve push. Is like, think about how hot Takeshita was coming out of like All In and All Out and all the Don Callis stuff. I remember back then, it's like, oh, it's a certainty. He's going to be world champ soon. And look at where he is now on Rampage. So I'd love it, but I'm hitching my bandwagon on Swerve right now. I think he's gonna do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we got a mention of CMLL, Andrade doing a little bit of work over there. Thought that was kind of a cool shout out. We got a both men shoulder tackling each other over and over. Both men won't go down. Andrade cross bodies Claudio for a 2, goes for a figure 4, but Claudio turns that into a giant swing attempt, but Andrade gets out of that. Claudio uppercuts Andrade as Andrade dives on the outside. Thought that was really savvy. We get 2 dragon screws to Claudio Castagnoli, a big lifted uppercut in response to Andrade for a 2 count. Andrade goes for a running knee to Claudio in the corner, but Claudio moves out of the way. Andrade's knees hit the bottom turnbuckle. Claudio gets Andrade into the giant swing finally. Then we get the sharpshooter. Andrade won't tap. Andrade somehow reverses the sharpshooter into a figure 4, and Claudio, big lanky guy, he's able to get to the ropes. We get a really beautiful avalanche power bomb from Andrade to Claudio for 2 count. Big knees in Claudio's face in the corner. He finally got that move connected for 2.99. We get a big superplex to Claudio. Then we got Andrade trying to hit the Three Amigos. Am I correct? Has he hit the Three Amigos completely yet in the tournament?
I think he did it last week in the Danielson match. I think if he wins the match, he definitely hits it.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, he definitely tried to hit that Three Amigos. Let's see. We get a back fist to Claudio. That swinging back fist, he does it better than Kingston. He does it better than definitely Jericho. Yeah, I'm calling that the best in the business right there.
It was
Does
crisp.
anyone?
I love how he does it off the pump kick now too. That is really freaking cool looking.
Yeah. Is anyone known for that in WWE
The spinning back fist?
currently?
Not that I know of. I mean, I don't know every wrestler like in NXT, but I think the first time I started seeing it was Kingston and Jericho, and now Idolo. Hey, you can't forget about Matt Jackson's back elbow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's at
Yeah, he
least the
really
third
crushed it.
best in the biz. Because it's still better than
Yeah.
Jericho's.
Ooh.
Yeah, after that beautiful spinning back fist for 2.99, Andrade goes for his El Idolo maneuver, but Claudio escapes. Andrade tries to hit the El Idolo from the top rope, but during the kerfuffle, Andrade lands on the exposed turnbuckle wire. He hit his knee and he is hurting. When the ref goes to put the padding back on the turnbuckle wire, oh man, Claudio gives Andrade an atomic low blow. Then a gotch style pile driver for the win. Kind of did not see that coming. I'm going to call that an upset.
I would agree. Considering what tear Andrade's been on in the Blue League so far, I was shocked when Claudio won. But I mean, this is what I've been asking for: is one big upset like this, and it actually keeps the tournament pretty fair going into next week, and gives Claudio a bit of an edge over Danielson in their match next week. Spoilers, but you know, Claudio, even through dastardly means, did beat Andrade, and Danielson couldn't.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was a
Yeah.
great match all in all. Crowd seemed really behind it. Actually, the crowd for the whole show seemed pretty hot. A lot more active than most of them have been lately. Yeah, I loved the sharpshooter into the figure four. That was pretty dang sexy too. That was a cool move. Yeah, I loved at the beginning, you know, Andrade going toe to toe with Claudio. I was like, when he was just going going to him shoulder for shoulder there, I thought, I was like, oh man, this is Claudio's match to win. There, Andrade's match to win, because he's had that great tear. So yeah, I loved Claudio picking up the win at the end, being really vicious too. That knee to the junk was pretty psycho.
Yeah, let's hope Andrade had a cup on or something. I wouldn't want to take that.
Yeah. Yeah. After that, we get a little recap of the Gold League side of things. They covered Roosh and Lethal, Swerve and Moxley. We got Jay White in the picture here. Yeah, we got Moxley on the top of that ladder. Swerve is right underneath him with 9. And yeah, nothing for Lethal. Jay White 6,
I think
correct?
Jay White has 9. He beat Briscoe last week. It
Yep.
bumped him up to 9.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of tiebreakers, right?
I hope so. I think that's what this is going to be.
Cool. I like that a lot. Cool. Yeah. After that, we get a Abaddon match.
Can I stop you right there, Dave?
Yeah.
I just wanted to give Tony Khan some praise for finding time on a 2-hour broadcast for 2 whole women's matches. Good job, Tony Khan. You did it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't think I'd see it in my lifetime. Sexism is over. Tony Khan finished it.
Well, we did it. We fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was a gimmick.
Exactly.
I like that too.
I was gonna do this match or that thing for the other match, but I actually liked that match. So we'll do it for the squash match because this was just an angle. A little bit of an overbooked angle, but an angle.
True. I looked at it as a vector to get to Julia Hart, kind of like a hot wing is a vector for ranch.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything negative. The match is
Yeah.
fine. It's there.
I like
Abaddon won
I like that.
convincingly.
The Black Dahlia, really great.
Mm-hmm.
Really impactful move. But yeah, quick squash match. We got Jasmine Allure. We kind of mentioned it before. I really like the human side of Abaddon. Like the ref will kind of like try to stop her and she'll like like kind of like it. Yeah. The evolution of her character. Uh yeah, one with the Black Dahlia. The lights go out. Julia Hart is in the ring, and the crowd is really into Julia. They're chanting for her. Julia lays the TBS title on the mat. Abaddon charges her. Abaddon gives Julia a running knee. And for now on, I'm going to call her Sky Black. Comes out to the ring. She ends up siding with Julia after a little what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? Um she slams Abaddon, or they both slam Abaddon's head into the TBS title. Thunder Rosa finally returns, comes back in the ring to help Abaddon. They shake hands, uh, and we find out a little later we're going to have a tag team match out of the whole ordeal. Good to see Thunder Rosa. They showed her a little uh, previously in the episode on Spanish commentary. Yeah. Chandler, you've never seen her wrestle at all, right?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing her wrestle for the first time. I've heard good things about her. And I mean, it's nice to finally have Sky Black, as you've now christened her. Nice to have her finally team up with Julia Hart, but I kind of wish they did this like last week. Like they had the Julia Hart and Sky Blue team up last week and they beat up Abaddon and they stand tall. And then this week they do it again. And then this week is when Thunder Rosa comes back, because doing both in one like 10-minute segment felt a little rushed, but at least things are happening. Like, could be worse. Abaddon could have just won and walked back to the ring or walked backstage. So I'm all for it, and I'm looking forward to that tag team match. What do you think, Chad?
Oh yeah, it was a fun segment. It was cool because they had a quick shot of Thunder Rosa right at the beginning on the commentary, and kind of forgot she was there. So it was kind of like, oh yeah, cool, that's awesome. Yeah, hope she's back and got all the rust knocked off for her big match back. Although she's been doing other stuff, right? I think. But yeah,
don't know.
it'll be great. She can go hard hitting. I love watching her. So yeah, hopefully sign of things to come. The women getting a little more time heating up. Fingers crossed that wasn't just a one-off. But yeah, Abaddon's cool. I noted down her record, 44-4. She's been wrestling a lot. Not on TV, but
Rampage, Ring of Honor. Where are these wins?
yeah.
Gotta be the two.
It's this Goldberg streak all over again, where they're like, he's at like 10 wins. Okay, he's at 173 guys, all legit, all legit.
But yeah, excited to see where it goes. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a fan of every woman involved. I really wanted Abaddon to get a little push. She's been around since almost day one. So yeah, I liked the Living Dead Girl zombie gimmick, but she really took that to another level now. And yeah, I think they could put her in the uh, upper middle card region from now on.
Quick question before we move on. We're 12 days away from World's End and still no TBS championship match. Do you think it'll be Abaddon or Thunder Rosa or both potentially?
Ooh, another
Triple threat?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that it was going to be Abaddon at the pay-per-view, but now that Thunder Rosa's back, wouldn't you want to do that match? But then if you did Thunder Rosa, would you want her to lose her first big championship match? But then you don't want Julia Hart to win. So I kind of would hope it's Abaddon, because I think Abaddon can take the loss from Julia, and it's at least one more pay-per-view where she has the belt. But I think it's interesting that Thunder Rosa's name is at least in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, we're speaking of the build of World's End being, 2 weeks away. Kenny Omega.
Diverticulitis.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, not good. Definitely won't be at the pay-per-view.
I don't think so, because I think diverticulitis requires surgery to fix and get better. So I could kind of feel bad for ragging on him so much for that segment, but turns out he was just really sick. So it's almost at the other side of the coin where it's like, maybe he shouldn't have been out there. Like, I know I try to trust these guys. They're all professionals. They know this industry way more than I ever could. So I trust that they have their health in their best concern, but it's also like, if the product was that bad and you were sick, maybe you should, like, I would have been fine if they said, okay, match canceled because Kenny's not feeling well. Like, yeah, diverticulitis is a real thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, damn near killed Brock friggin' Lesnar.
that's the only reason why I know how to pronounce it, is because Paul Heyman would always go, he had diverticulitis in the UFC and he still beat the undisputed champ for the title.
That's a spoiler, not a something.
That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. But get well soon, Kenny. Sorry for ragging on you so hard last week. Didn't know you were sick.
On the plus side, maybe the Golden Jets will just go away now.
I hope that, like, this is it. So Jericho at least still has a title shot at World's End. Who's his partner, guys? Because I have my big bold prediction, but I want to know what you two think.
Oh, wait.
No, he's dead. Kota Ibushi, Kenny's other friend.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But I don't want to see that.
Neither do I, but the match is going to
happen. I'm not impressed by him.
Ibushi?
I am not impressed by Ibushi in AEW.
What if this
at all?
What if this is the match that Ibushi comes back for, huh? What if?
Okay. Show me what you got. I have not been impressed.
It'll just end up being Jake Hager.
Why?
Because he really likes that hat.
But Danhausen has the hat. None of them have the hat.
You can just get another one on Amazon.
It's not the hat.
They're cheap.
All right, what happened next? We're rambling about hats and Jake Hager. We need to move on.
After that, we get Renee Paquette backstage with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed are pissed off. they're coming for whoever's under the mask. Uh, they're not mad at MJF, but
They're just
how did he put
disappointed.
it? Yeah, disappointed. He didn't care, is what he said. But he kind of did. He did a whole, didn't he? He was like,
He said something once where he was like, "I feel bad that they got hurt," and that was it. So I kind of I'm on the Acclaimed side a little bit where they were like, "I doesn't care about us." I would say that MJF doesn't care about the Acclaimed.
what should he have done?
I don't know. Don't ask. I don't know. I'm not fucking this shit.
Uh, but let's see. Flight walk up and they want a trios title shot. Wrong place, wrong time. They're after the Devil Dumpling Gang. But next week, San Antonio, we're going to get that match. I did not actually watch the match that they had with Penta and
I know they won
Commander.
because they revealed it in Collision, but I didn't watch it either. I'll go back and watch it, but I just didn't have the time this week. I barely finished Collision before we got on, so
Yeah, heard nothing but good things about it.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I heard the whole show was pretty good. Yeah, I gotta circle around and watch it still too.
yeah,
I'm glad the
they
Acclaimed are
fly
back.
by.
Oh, yeah. It's only an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad the Acclaimed are back on TV. Me too. All right. After that, we get an international championship match. Orange Cassidy and kind of a new guy on the scene. Definitely not new to pro wrestling. Brian Keith, the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. Apparently, he had a really good showing at Ring of Honor Final Battle. Um, yeah, he's won a lot of respect from the locker room, and he can go. I really liked what he did in this match. Um, let's see, a little bit into the match. Orange Cassidy drop kicks Keith and kips up. We get a big boot to Orange Cassidy by Brian Keith. Big swinging DDT to Brian Keith, but he rolls out of the ring. Orange Cassidy dives on him. I really like that slam here sign they had in the crowd. Let's see. Brian Keith superplexes Orange Cassidy. We get a beach break to Brian Keith for a 2 count. Orange Cassidy does the hard kicks to Brian Keith while he's knelt on the mat. You guys notice how Cassidy doesn't do the little wimpy, like soft kicks? He just goes right for the hard ones now. I like that. Little evolution, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Um, let's see. We get a stunner to Orange Cassidy for a 2 count. And then Orange Cassidy rolls up Brian Keith for the win. I think that was a really great showing. Good match. Uh, we'll probably get the Brian Keith is all elite traffic or something soon. Uh, yeah, I think he can go. I like his like little like stout like frame, but he can like move like a little luchador. Like, yeah, really great style. And I he might have been local, huh? That's probably why.
He seemed like a big Texan guy because the crowd was popping for him for someone I've never heard of. I don't even think he was a Ring of Honor guy. Was he like, I'm gonna say lower than that, but like he came from the Indies, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
assume so. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting just off the crowd reaction. I think he was just a big Texas local guy.
I mean, he looked like a good worker. Unfortunately, I never thought he would win this match, really. Like, and then when you got to the near counts, those were kind of when I was most excited. So I was like, oh, maybe if he pulls off like a shock win over Orange Cassidy, that'd be cool. But I'm kind of just disinterested in this Orange Cassidy reign. I hope they do something with it. Like, we just haven't seen it. We've seen the TNT championship at least a couple times, but we haven't seen this one once. So, I mean, we just did, but I hope they bring Keith David back around, and they really need him to sign to All Elite Wrestling. What do you think, Chad?
It was great. I love, Cassidy. Just watching him sell for that guy was great. He's so good at selling. It kind of gives you at least that moment, or you're like, oh, maybe. But then at the end is kind of the predictable outcome. I'm kind of right there with you. Would like to see more. Like, since he picked up the belt, we really haven't seen him do much.
He beat Moxley clean at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, should have been a launching point.
Clean as a sheet.
You've never seen my sheets, huh?
All right, move on.
So moving along.
What happened next? FTR.
Real quick, what would the perfect heel Orange Cassidy character be?
Apple Cassidy.
How would that work? Huh?
Apple Cassidy, and he just like, he like dyes his hair red and not orange, and that's all he does. Okay. He's a bad apple.
Like
he's a bad apple.
I like it.
That's how you phrase it.
Bad apple, dude. Good. I want him to go back to the. You two got to look this up. The Fire Ant character that he did. I can't remember which promotion, but yeah, I think they could pull that off pretty cool. Heel Fire Ant, Orange Cassidy. But yeah, let's see here. After that, we get a Miro promo. Let's see. He says, what am I doing? I'm not even sure anymore. I thought wrestling poisons her, but maybe it's she that poisons me. I've been talking about things that don't make any sense, fighting people that don't make any sense, getting caught up in all that drama that I tried to avoid for so long. But I am the Redeemer. I don't want to fight Andrade because he's my wife's client. I want to fight him because he's an asshole. And him losing to Claudio in this tournament brings him one step closer to being eliminated. I'm done avoiding people to please my wife. I'm ready to kill everyone to please myself. I fought the light for so long that I let my darkness consume me. This is the world of the Redeemer. Cool. I think he learned a lesson from talking about making his wife clean fish, and kind of like went back to what makes the Redeemer so great. How you feel about it, Chad?
Well, I mean, if I fished, I'd probably make my wife clean it too, but that's besides the point. I just think fish guts are yucky. But no, I loved it. It was great. Yeah, more of this, please. This is the Miro we got for a little while, and this is the Miro I was hoping to see some more of. So, yeah, hopefully he goes out and whoops on Andrade because he's an asshole, which I just thought was hilarious. I was like, that's a good reason for a feud. Hey, I don't like you. I want to punch your face. Like, no titles, no nothing. Just you're an asshole. I'm gonna hit you. What do you think, Chandler?
I thought it was a fine promo. I didn't write anything down from it, but one thing I was kind of thinking about when you were talking about it is if Miro's so unhinged and he hates Andrade so much, why doesn't he wait for the bell to ring and then like go out and attack Andrade? Like that would kind of make sense. Like, oh, I'm gonna ruin you by ruining your chances in this big tournament, and that'll heat up their big match coming up.
Yeah, or run out there and attack the guy Andrade's fighting.
Maybe. Well, so there's no outside interference, so that's why I'm saying like wait for the bell to ring and like the match is over, and then Miro comes out, clobbers him. Like seems like he maybe should be doing that, but we'll wait. I feel like this will be a good match for World's End.
Oh man, it kind of like almost tells me Andrade is not going to win it. Like, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
kind of spoils that for me with him.
Yep. Well, same thing with
Mm,
like Jay White, because they're like, oh, Moxley's 100% in the semifinals no matter what. And it's like, well, if Jay White beats Moxley, they'll tie in points, and White will have the advantage because he pinned him. So there's a way for it to be White and Swerve, and they didn't mention that once. It's Moxley and Swerve or Jay White. So I think they're also like spoiling that Jay White's not going to win on Wednesday. But we'll see. Maybe he will.
yeah. Um, yeah, everyone out there, go ahead and leave us a comment how you feel about Miro and the tournament, the old Continental Classic. I like people calling it the C2. Um, yeah, really cool. Yeah. Um,
Let us know
maybe
who you think will
subscribe.
win, and let us know who you want to win, because those are two very different answers. So put it down below.
Yes. Uh, and yeah, if you're taking the time to comment, hit that like and subscribe button too. It can't hurt.
It's
It's
free.
free.
You can take it back, but you won't wanna.
Otherwise, I'm going to send John
Yeah.
Moxley to your house.
No, no, no.
I'm not. Okay, fine.
We can't
Okay.
threaten them, the lovely viewers. Moxley won't come to your house. Santa Claus will come to your house.
Ooh, yeah. But yeah, we're really having fun doing this, and we really appreciate your support out there. But yeah, getting back to Collision, we got Lexi Nair backstage with Commander. He's interrupted by Roderick Strong. Commander, Commander. Uh, Roderick's looking to get back on the horse. He wants to win. He wants to get that record looking good. And Commander is going to be his next victim. All right, bring it on. I don't think Commander stands a chance. What do you think, Chandler?
I think Roderick's neck is just too strong. Commander's gonna try to do a Hurricane Rana, and Roddy's gonna know. So he's like, I can't. No, not doing that. Not going down. You can't break this. I thought it was like like as funny as the Commander bit is. It was just a nothing promo to set up a match for Dynamite, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. How about you, Chad? You ready for Roderick?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. I think last week I said his Hangman match just didn't feel great for me. It just felt like they didn't have quite a good chemistry. So yeah, I hope these two just shoot to steal the show, because I think they both
Yeah,
probably can.
absolutely. Next up, we get an FTR segment. Uh, they come out to the ring. They call out the House of Black. They say no more magic, no more vanishing, no more sneak attacks. Come out here and see us face to face. They're having the best run of their careers. They were Ring of Honor, New Japan, AAA, two-time AEW World Tag Champs. Uh, Malachi and Buddy are just unrealized potential. And they're jealous of Brody King and Julia Hart. Dax says they may not be the best looking, don't have the best bodies, not the flashiest, and they may be known as hard to do business with, but they won't back down from a fight. Uh, Dax starts to lay out a challenge, but his microphone gets cut off. The lights go out. Buddy Matthews ends up on the big screen. He says they're not trying to hurt them. They're trying to uh, see. No one in the back has their back. They're trying to prove that no one in the back has their back. He asks Cash who loves him. Dax and Cash are welcome in the House of Black. Imagine that. Malachi Black says, who came to save you when we attacked you? No one. And they burn a picture of Dax's family. FTR run to the back, and Malachi says, if you like it or not, we are your family now. Cool. I kind of like that. They're making it, personal. And I'm coming around on that feud with I think I've mentioned it before. It just doesn't seem right with FTR competing in any feud without gold glistening from their waist or shoulder. But yeah, this is going to be good. What are the chances we get FTR as a whole in the House of Black briefly, or we get one or the other, Dax or Cash, in the House of Black? Would that ever happen?
No, I don't think so. They're not gonna do that. FTR is pretty well known, at least in AEW, and for their fans, they always get a big reaction. So it'd kind of be like putting Daniel Bryan in the Wyatt family in 2013, right when he was on his uber hot streak. It's kind of like, well, why would you do that? Like, you're just kind of wasting time. But maybe they could sell it in a way that would sell me. But as of right now, no. What about you, Chad?
Oh, same. Like FTR, I feel is just kind of they're FTR. They're like meat and potatoes guys. So them jumping into there. I mean, if it was me personally, I'd be going to go join my Gothic brothers, get some tattoos, and hang out and listen to my friggin' metal music all day. But I just don't think they fit FTR's vibe. The match, on the other hand, is going to be off the hook.
I would
But
agree with that. I'd agree with that. I only had one note for that entire segment, and it was get shit on bald FTR because it was his family that got burnt up. So, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't have anything to say. It was kind of interesting that FTR would bring up that we're not that easy to do business with, because that's kind of why the tag team championship situation is kind of so messed up right now. Because the Young Bucks, like, I don't know, like, this is all kind of hearsay, but the Young Bucks won the title shot, and FTR was like, well, we don't want to lose. And Young Bucks was like, well, we don't want to lose. So that's why Ricky Starks and Big Bill squashed them. They were like, oh, no, it's because we respect them. But, they had the title, and then Young Bucks didn't talk about their title shot until it was important to have a match with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega won that. And so Ricky Starks and Big Bill, so that's kind of like, why would you bring that up on TV? But hey, made a good line for a promo.
After that, we get a little Keith Lee video package. He beat Shane Taylor at Final Battle. Shane Taylor was not him. It's got to mean one thing, man. Swerve Strickland, look out.
We got a little extra tease later on for that. So,
yeah, finally. Gosh, they're getting to what we want. Could that mean that Swerve is gonna lose too?
yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, this is
Did
where
I just
this is where I'm so torn. It's like I want Swerve to win everything, but I don't want him to win that championship because it's just going to be an albatross around him. I'm like, so I don't think he's going to win. I think they're going to do the Keith Lee Swerve match at World's End. Big bold
I'm
prediction.
for that. That's too soon. Like, you
yeah.
can't
I
unless
think he
he.
can. I think Keith Lee could go through all of Mogul Embassy and then do a swerve on the next pay-per-view.
Mhm.
That'd be
Man,
interesting.
yeah.
I think that's probably a good route because otherwise, like the 2 week build on top of the Continental Classic, probably a little much.
Well, yeah, if we're getting that now, all we need really to tie up all loose ends, if I'm correct, is Kingston Moxley.
We might get that for the classic. Maybe Moxley cheats and beats Swerve. Maybe Kingston claws his way into the classic final. I think that one could reasonably happen.
Yeah, that'd be a hot match.
If we're kind of like being realistic, I'm kind of on I think Kingston's going to win it train. I think Danielson's taken too many losses and is too kayfabe injured. I don't think he's too real injured. I think he's too kayfabe injured. Idolo is just that nice big point guy to be in that semifinal and then have someone like Kingston overcome him. And then Moxley is it's just a good person to beat in that final. So sucks for like Swerve and White and all those other people we wanted to win, but I see what Eddie Kingston can do with it. It's odd that, and I know it's not the only like end result of this tournament, but it's odd that the end result of this tournament is Eddie Kingston just got another belt. I don't think anyone would have predicted that when they announced the Continental Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. I really have to like rethink a lot of things. Yeah. They could Andrade could be for sure losing. Swerve can be for sure losing, just so they can have their matches with the old feuds.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what are they going to do with Hangman for the pay-per-view? We gonna fight a dumpling?
No.
Hangman v Dumpling?
Maybe like Hangman versus Wardlow. Winner gets a title shot. Like, there's been nothing to announce that, but I don't know. Give Wardlow a big win.
Maybe he's gonna be Jericho's mystery partner.
No.
Ew. Yeah, only time will tell. All right. After all that, we got a Texas death match is what
Texas
it
Street
was, right?
Fight. That is basically Texas Death
A
Match.
street fight, my
yeah.
bad. Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Martinez and Diamante. Again, like, it's weird, Chandler. It didn't even occur to me that there were two women's matches on the show.
Two whole women's matches.
Yeah,
it worked.
I thought
and it
my
fit.
TV was broken.
Yeah, right.
Wait, you guys didn't turn off in disgust when you saw two more women's match? Like, what? You weren't like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't my AEW.
Immediately got onto Twitter. Worst wrestling show ever.
But yeah, this was a really violent match. Kind of short. Did you guys feel like it was kind of short?
Yeah,
Could have
but
went another
they
like
were
5.
jam packing a lot into this episode. Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Like, by the time this came on, I was like, okay, there's still 2 Continental Classic matches to go, and then they crammed in another match in after this one too. Holy crap! Like, yeah, there was a lot going on.
I was fine with it being, I guess, quicker than I expected, because I feel like they still got a lot of good spots crammed into there. Like, I was still pretty squeamish, and like, you know, I always compare it to the death match between Hangman and Page. Like, that one was a war, and this one was like, we're just gonna send them out there and they're gonna batter each other. But this was where the big reveal of the devil was, because early on, Mercedes Martinez smashed Willow Nightingale with what? What was it, Dave?
May or may not have been real glass.
Was it a bottle?
Oh, okay. I had a different reason.
Oh,
I thought it has to be Diamante because she dumped real glass on the mat.
So what we're saying is now there's 2 new devils in the mix, Diamante and Mercedes Martinez. So 100% confirmed, Grapple-Sauce exclusive. We've narrowed it down to 2 people. Maybe it's that Scream theory where people are saying it's MJF and Adam Cole. No, you idiots. It's Diamante and I like Mercedes Martinez. I like this.
Like how we both were kind of getting to the same thing, but through different avenues.
We both had a stupid glass head because, I mean, this is just like current speculation for everything. It's like, oh, this one person said the word glass. They're the devil. Oh, God, this person did this. They're the devil. And so it's like, this is it, guys. We saw them use real glass on the show. So now that you've been spoiled, Chad, how do you feel about this information?
I still don't see it.
No. It's not like I actually think she's the devil, but
yeah,
it's just funny.
It's cute. No, I was like, wait, what? You're going with that? Okay, all right. I'm still holding out for Dalton Castle and the boys and some more boys. That's what I want.
I want that only because I like the idea of Wardlow being one of the boys and he gets a little mask and he does all the weird crap and he eats out of Dalton Castle's hand. Like, if that's what I get, then yes.
Could it be?
That would be my goofy wrestling for life shit.
All right, hear me out. The Devil Dumpling Gang are Ring of Honor as a whole, and we're not only getting a whodunit, but an invasion angle.
Like, who? Okay, like that's kind of what sucked about the WWF WCW invasion. Was not they're like none of the big WCW stars wanted to have their contracts be bought out, so they just sat at home. Blah blah blah. There are no big Ring of Honor stars because all the big Ring of Honor champions are AEW talent. Because another AEW talent just won the TV title. So,
hey, this is the in for Dalton Castle.
If Dalton okay, I'm gonna hijack your idea. It's like a zombie plague, and Dalton Castle keeps spreading the boys, and so he's like he goes to Kenny Omega. He's like, Kenny Omega didn't have diverticulitis. He's a boy now, and you see Kenny Omega feeding out of Dalton Castle's hand, and he keeps getting more people and going like, John Moxley, you're next, and John Moxley's a boy now. You do that, I'm in. That's the invasion story I want.
You know who else may be hungry and might be a boy?
Ryback?
Who wants to
feed me more. Feed me more.
He may be a boy too at this rate.
Who?
Oh man.
I thought he retired.
Anyway, we're getting
No, because CM Punk had to return to AEW. Didn't you hear? He said it, even though he didn't. I love Ryback. I need him to return to wrestling. He's so shite, but I need him to return to wrestling.
Anyway, we're getting off track here.
Back to the match. Good match. Very good match.
Yeah. We had a cannonball misfire. Willow actually accidentally hit Statlander on the outside. We get that bottle smashed over Willow's head. We get a barbed wire bat involved. Willow bleeding everywhere. We get Diamante slammed by Statlander onto steel steps. Mercedes hit by a ladder. Mercedes Martinez hit Willow with a tire iron. Willow was bleeding pretty good. Top rope suplex to Statlander on a chair. We get some plywood involved. Willow slams Diamante into another piece of plywood, but the damn thing won't break. So she takes care of that and breaks it. We get broken glass and thumbtacks. Gotta be the devil. We get them rubbing Statlander's face into the glass and thumbtacks. Willow gets put through a table with the help of Diamante. Statlander hits Diamante with a chain for the win. Cool little grudge match. They wrapped that up in like a couple week duration. Cool. Yeah, I like all the ladies involved. Good match.
Well, to be fair, Willow still hasn't really pinned Mercedes, so that feud's still going. They got another match in them. But I really enjoyed this match. There was like one particular moment where anytime they bring out thumbtacks, it makes me super uncomfortable because like, I can't imagine taking that. That sounds like it would hurt. And Diamante did like a code red or like a sunset flip to Chris Statlander on the thumbtacks. And like she sat right on the tacks and I just wrote her ass. Like, God, that must hurt so bad. And she was like, and like she was like, oh no, I gotta be the one on top here. But oh, they're like, poor thing. And then Willow was bleeding everywhere, like so early on. I thought that was great. Like Mercedes Martinez had an awesome suplex, like off the apron. I thought this match was cracking, and I really liked the pace of it. What did you think, Chad?
I love it. I like that it was like kind of on the shorter side because it was like just so violent and urgent that it didn't need to go long. Like, I don't know if you've ever been part of or seen a real street fight, they don't last long. 1, maybe 2 minutes tops. Like, so that like kind of it had that feel to me. Like they were really just scrapping and going after each other, and just that this badass version of Statlander, like that finish. Whoo, like I kind of want to see her drop that title and go on for bigger things because I don't know. I love her. She's great. I guess she already dropped the title. Wow.
Yeah. She took an ugly bump to her head on the outside. I was surprised she came back for the finish. I thought like, oh, she's done, but
yeah, no, she looked great. Yeah, I love this match. I was in a card full of like extremely good matches. I was not expecting this at all, and I was very surprised. I was really shone a good spotlight. Way to go! We fixed women's wrestling on AEW.
Only took 4 years. We made it.
Remember AEW year 1, Chad, when they had the women's tag tournament?
Yeah.
Diamante and Evilise won that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They had most of it though, Chandler, on Dark. So it really didn't pick up a lot of steam. But yeah, they don't need women's belts. I think they could do a tournament and be fine with it.
They gave us another women's belt this week.
It's a Ring of Honor one. It doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
It's not on TV yet. It's not on AEW yet. It doesn't count. We'll see.
Yet.
It's not like we needed another belt regardless.
Well, we're 12 days from another belt. So let's just hold our stuff together. We're getting that Continental Championship, Ring of Honor TV Women's Title Championship. Ooh boy.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, a lot coming up here. Yeah, after that street fight, we had Renee Paquette backstage with Tony Storm, killing it with the character. We find out that Saraya and Riho are going to have a match to determine which one of them are going to face Tony Storm at World's End for the AEW Women's Championship. Mariah May asks Tony Storm if she'll commentate her debut. Tony Storm blows her off, says she's busy, but she'll let her know when she does a seminar. This is great. She says, as for Saraya and Riho, go on then. Go out there and slap each other's tits off, gouge each other's eyes out, rip each other's hair out. Then at World's End, I'll be facing one of two titless, blind baldies. But until then, my tits will be out, and watch for the Renee stops her, and she says, "Good reflexes, Renee." Gold. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is great.
Yeah, I love that she actually got Renee to crack on air too. She gave her one of the old, oh god. Yeah, that had me howling. I know this is usually one of your favorite segments of the night. What do you think, Chandler?
I liked it. It wasn't one of my favorites. My favorite part of it, it was so small, but right as Renee was like, who do you like? Who do you think it'll be? And she's like, I don't no preference. And Renee was just like, okay, moving on to Mariah. And I am intrigued because they still haven't announced who Mariah May's first opponent is. So that I'm interested in. Maybe it's going to be like Britt Baker or a Hikaru, maybe. And then there's already sowing seeds of contentment with Mariah May and Tony because Mariah was like, "Can you commentate my match? That would be brilliant." And Tony was like, "Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I have a seminar." I did like how she was like, "If I have a seminar, you can come to that." So, looking forward to it. But it's still odd that they haven't announced even the day for her first match, like World's End. I think if it's World End, it's gonna be like Britt Baker or someone big that we haven't seen in a while. What do you think, Dave? Who do you think it'll be?
I'm not sure, but what I do know is I like that they're getting Mariah May out there with the belt. Like she looks great with the belt. Like I think that will be she'll have it eventually, I'm sure.
She'll
Uh
probably be the one to take it off of Tony.
yeah. Yeah, I think that could work. Um but yeah, she looks like $1,000,000. I have yet to watch a match of hers, which I'm gonna remedy that tonight. I gotta watch a little Mariah May, uh, see what I'm getting into. But yeah, um, I think I'd rather have Soraya actually at the pay-per-view, honestly.
Really? That's
Um,
shocking.
yeah, I mean I like Riho and all, but I don't know. Soraya's a bigger star.
I don't know. Maybe I liked Soraya back in her like early days as Paige, but then she kind of went off the rails for a bit, and then she had a bad run as champ. So I'm not really interested in Soraya because I don't think she can really perform these days. I mean, she can, but so I think I'd rather just see Riho because I haven't seen her on a pay per view stage, and I'd want to see what that was like.
Yeah, Riho can go. All right. After that, we get a Adam Copeland video package. He's close to tasting gold. We're going to get Christian versus Adam Copeland at World's End. No DQ match. So that should be pretty violent. Um, any crazy shenanigans that we're gonna get from this? Heel turn, face turn, uh, Kill Switch and Nick Wayne. Are they going to turn on Christian? Anything weird?
It feels too early for that, but I also feel like Adam Copeland will win, and he probably would win if something crazy were to happen. So I don't know. I do know that Adam Copeland has been wanting to tell the story of like a wired old veteran, I'll retire when I lose this belt story. He's been wanting to tell that for years. So if he actually wins the TNT championship and is able to do that, I think that'd be killer. How do you
Yeah,
feel, Chad?
I feel like Adam Copeland's going to show us how much grit he has.
Yeah.
Sorry, like bad reference to every single one of his WWE promos.
He'll be on top of the mountain of omnipotence and he'll cast down onto Christian Cage as he. Oh, wait, no, that was his Judgment Day run. My mistake. That's not his current day run.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. I feel like there's going to be some sort of shenanigans. I just have no idea what. Yeah, it can't go that straightforward. as long as it eventually ends in those two tagging together, I'd be very happy. Somewhere down the road.
Could anything lead to uh, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers teaming with
Ooh,
Copeland?
there's got to be a path to get there somehow. That'd be
Right?
cool as hell.
Um, how'd that whole thing? They weren't, with him long, right? But they were like his proteges or something,
I think
right?
they were called the Edgeheads back in the day, which is
Yeah,
such a
that
that's such
rings
a
a bell.
name. That's such a wrestling name, But it'd be interesting. I'm not too familiar on Brian Myers. Was he Curtis Hawkins in kind of his latter
Yeah.
day? Okay. I know that guy. So I mean that's interesting. Those are two eternal jobbers who have at least one of them has rebuilt themselves on the indies. So be interesting to see them in AEW. But I think Matt Cardona has been teasing going to WWE for months. Like his wife is in WWE, so I think he'll probably be in the Rumble.
Ooh, that'd be hot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm loving his indie run. I've caught a couple things here and there. Watched that one GC dub show back like a year ago. That was good. He's killing it.
Yeah. He's the king of the indies for sure. But yeah, after that, we get a real quick squash match. Brian Cage versus Random Jobber. Big Relief's German suplex. He curls the Jobber, then throws him over his head behind him. Uh, Brian Cage flexes and does the drill claw for the win. Real quick match. After that, Lexi Nair's backstage with him in the Mogul Embassy. Uh, Keith Lee walks up and says, you can tell him my patience runs thin and time is running out. Ooh, yeah, bring that on. I can't wait for that. Like, uh, are they gonna, how are they gonna balance the new rub that Swerve has gotten to use a little bit of that to give Keith Lee some of that and then
Mhm.
bounce back? That's kind of a weird, like,
Yeah, bring Keith Lee
uh,
back into like a little bit of a higher contention. Like he doesn't need to be Swerve level of top star about to break through, but it'd be nice if he was like mid card
mhm.
because he's not. But I'd like Keith Lee in the mid card.
Yeah, right now he's just kind of a cameo.
It's like, oh, it's that guy from Ring of Honor. Welcome back, Keith Lee.
Didn't he have gray hair a week ago?
Where's his team with Dustin Reynolds? What happened to that?
Yeah, no, that'll be cool. Have him run through the Mogul Embassy for the next month and a bit, or however long the next pay per view is after World's End, and then circle back around to that. That'd be cool.
I mean, there's a lot less time in between pay-per-views now with that World's End, like that extra pay-per-view. It'll be a little sooner. So, um, cool. Yeah. After that, we get another Blue League Continental Classic match. Eddie Kingston going in with 3 points versus Daniel Garcia with nada. We get Daddy Magic on commentary. I love that. Keep that coming. Right off the bat, we get a couple big dragon screws, or one dragon screw to Kingston off of the apron onto the floor. Uh, Looked pretty damaging. We get a really smooth DDT to Garcia right before commercial from Kingston. Rapid fire chops to Garcia. Then he goes back for more. Garcia taunts him with a little dance. Uh, More chops. We get Garcia taunting him again down on the mat. Kingston's getting visibly annoyed. I thought that was great. Garcia got in his head a little bit. That was cool storytelling in the match. Uh, Garcia makes a little comeback, gives another dragon screw to Kingston. Kingston's knee is definitely hurting at this point. Ankle lock to Kingston from Garcia. Kingston's able to get to the ropes. We get an exploder to Garcia into the corner, then a spinning back fist for 2.99. Garcia ended up kicking out of that somehow. We get a "This is awesome" chant. Then we got Kingston with his knee giving out. They slap the crap out of each other. Then Kingston does a half and half suplex to Garcia. Garcia stands right up, basically no sells it. But Kingston's ready with that back fist. Bam, gives him one more for 3. Got the win on that. Yeah, unbelievable match. Garcia, his stock went way up. Like, this tournament is elevating him to a level that, quite frankly, they need to do with Takeshita. I think they're doing great with Kyle Fletcher. He won the Ring of Honor TV title. So I think they're doing good things with him. I'm kind of missing Sammy Guevara
Sammy
too.
Guevara.
I heard he's coming
He-
back soon. His
He's
baby
cleared.
his baby was born, right? Like, that's
Yep.
both. He's good to clear, and he not like his duties is done, but I loved this match. There's multiple times where I just started writing down praises for Daniel Garcia. I literally wrote down "what a hero" when he was dancing in the corner. Like, I thought that was so cool. And then I just wrote, I love Danny, because at the beginning he was out chopping Eddie Kingston. Like, Eddie went down first. I thought that was such a good touch. And Daddy Magic on commentary for all these Garcia matches is perfect, because he's like, it's funny because he's a sports entertainer and he's all silly. But he knows, like, okay, Daniel Garcia, you're a wrestler. You need to wrestle this guy. And he's like, get on the mat. Don't get on your feet. Don't do the chops. Get on the mat and go for submissions, which I thought that's a really cool touch. And like you were saying with his ankle lock, I thought that was it, honestly, for a second. And this was one where, even though I said I think Kingston's going to win it, I really wanted Garcia to win this match, like win something. So maybe Garcia's match is against King next week. Maybe Garcia squeaks out a win. Maybe it's this ultimate David and Goliath story they tell. Like, I'm really hoping,
That
because
would be cool.
they saved
Would.
Andrade and Kingston for the last week, which isn't a coincidence. And then they saved Claudio and Danielson for the last week, which also isn't a coincidence. So I'd like to assume that this was also not a coincidence, and that it's like they're going to tell an amazing David and Goliath story, hopefully.
Yeah. Garcia, when he was down in the corner and he just kept, give me more. I was like, in the way that both the crowd and Daddy Magic were like helping sell that moment, I was like you guys, I was just hooked. I'm like, I love this guy. Like, not since he had that little feud with Bryan Danielson and the BCC and all that. Like have I really been into this character? And all of a sudden I'm like just right there with you guys. I was like, dude, I love this guy. He's so amazing. Yeah, what a treat this whole tournament's been. Just all these stories and people, like the character development, the evolution. Yeah, it's great. How about you, Dave? How are you feeling on all of it?
Oh, I mean, you know how I feel about the tournament. Every bit of it, like the storytelling, like even how they have like side quests, for like people, like unbelievable. How long in advance do you think they plan this out? Like, how much thought like was put into it?
I don't know, though. Like, their lack of announcing stuff kind of like concerned me. So that points me towards they're planning this as they go. Or maybe they were like, okay, we know who we want and we know what matches we want to wait till the end. Like, they want to keep Claudio Danielson till the end. But I also would have kept Swerve and Mox till the end, but they didn't. And that's not a bad thing. I'm like, every single Bryan Danielson match they had felt like it could have been saved for the end too, like Andrade or King or Garcia, because Garcia beat him, Kingston because he's on his big come up. So I don't know. I hope they planned it out because it's been told really well.
If they didn't plan it out, what does that say about their booking, the capacity of their booking skill?
Pretty impressive. I'll give them that they can at least book on the fly. I'd like this to be booked out a little bit more than week to week, but
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely into it. I'm really interested in all the tiebreakers too that are undoubtedly coming. Yeah, it's a really close scoreboard right now, apart from Lethal, Garcia. Um, let's see,
Yeah.
Claudio's not eliminated yet, right?
he's at 6 points. I don't
Yeah.
think
Okay.
No, Blue League is like neck and neck for almost everybody
Yeah,
except
all of
Garcia.
them.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Briscoe never got. He's only got one more match against.
Against
Lethal.
Lethal. So
One of them's
it's gonna
walking.
be to see who gets on the board.
What if that one's the first draw? I'm surprised we still haven't gotten one draw. I kind of thought the main event would be a draw.
Yeah.
Maybe I just think every Brody King match is going to be a draw because it's like, how you going to beat him? But people find out. People find ways.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, great match. Garcia came out of that looking like $1 million. Then we get our main event for the evening. Another Blue League match. Bryan Danielson with 6 points versus Brody King, also with 6. Yeah, we get Brody King chopping Danielson really hard over and over and over. Brody King rips off Bryan Danielson's eye protector. Brody King hits the cannonball on Danielson. The ref has to check on Danielson. Brody King slams Danielson's head into the announce table. King throws Danielson into the barricade. Brody King gives Danielson a crossbody while he was sitting in a chair. We got Danielson bleeding all over the place now. His eye just looks like hamburger meat. Danielson tripped Brody King when he went for another crossbody on the outside in the chair. We get a Basaiku knee to Brody King on the outside. After that, we get Danielson gets King in a half crab. Brody King ends up kicking Danielson and getting free. We get a bunch of yes kicks to Brody King. They get a nice little close up of his eye again. It just looks so bad. We get a couple yes stomps for a 2 count. Hammer and anvil elbows to Brody King. And while he's giving him the hammer and anvil elbows, Brody King picks up Danielson into a Death Valley driver out of nowhere. We get another Basaiku knee to Brody King for just a 1 count. We get more yes kicks. Big lariat to Danielson for a 2 count. 2 more Basaiku knees to Brody King. And 1 to the back of the head for the win. All I gotta say is yes. Good Lord. Apparently after the match went off the air, he did the actual yes chant in the crowd or to the crowd.
Whoa, I thought he didn't do that.
Yeah, before that he said, "Hey, I'm not allowed to do this, but I kind of really wanna."
Well, that's fun, especially if the cameras are off. You gotta let them like once or twice.
Do you guys see the video of Doc Samson chewing him out after the match?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What
Dude, his
happened?
eye it
Oh, is it bad?
just about yeah. I don't think he's he's like could he like they couldn't let him wrestle if it wasn't good, right? Like
Remember what I said earlier with Kenny, where it's like, I'm putting my trust in these professionals who know way more about this industry than I. But this Danielson shit is scaring me sometimes. 'Cause I'm like, is it real though? Like, I know that it's shoot, or I know it's a work, and oh, can he come through his injuries? But actually, though, his eye's broken and he wrestles Okada in like 30 days. Can he make it there? Like, will he be alive?
yeah, dude. Oh man. Um yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Like Danielson's, winding down his career. Like he had some really cool moments in AEW, but weird they didn't put the belt on him, I feel. And uh he got injured a lot, it kind of false starts.
He himself
But
did say that he didn't want to win at least the big title. I remember like seeing an article about that, but like he could win like a TNT or an international championship, or like a tag team championship. Like I would like to see some going on Danielson. That's why I was somewhat interested in Danielson winning the whole thing because you know it'd be fun to see him with the Ring of Honor World title again. He could have a New Japan title, and he'd have his he'd have an AEW title. He'd be able to take those across the shows. But then again, with how injured he is, would you want him wrestling all those matches and all those different promotions? So I don't know. But at least with this match, I thought it was a banger. There was a bit where King like crotched Danielson on the rope and then he lariated it off like the top rope. That was awesome. I just like every time it cut to Danielson's eye bleeding, I wrote it down because it's like he is like really bleeding, guys. Like that looks
he did it a
rough.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think my favorite part of this match was right at the beginning when King was slamming Danielson into the desk and he just went, Nigel. And he started smiling at him, and Nigel was like, Brody King is the best, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. So that was probably my favorite part of the whole match. What do you think, Chad?
Oh man, I love at the beginning. Brian looked like he was trying to defend the eye, and he's hitting those leg kicks. It kind of started to look like the when Forrest Griffin fought Rampage Jackson in the UFC. Uh, Rampage is, huge, big, massive guy. Rampage, amazing fighter, and all Forrest Griffin did was hit him with just wicked Muay Thai leg kicks for like 3 rounds straight, and Rampage just couldn't walk by the end. It was amazing to watch. I was like, ooh, it was kind of giving me shades of that, where like Brody was starting to limp a little. It was just like just a night of great in-ring storytelling all around, and this was like the feather in the cap. It was great. Brian just loves to make people feel uncomfortable. He gets those injuries and he just plays with it. I'm sure in theory they've got doctors and stuff and they're getting cleared, but at the same time, like you guys said, it's like, oh God, really?
That's why I don't really want to say like, oh, he shouldn't be wrestling, because at the end of the day, I don't really know how bad it is. So I'm just saying they know what they're doing. This is nationally broadcasted television. I'm gonna put my faith in them. Would
Yeah.
I put Danielson in all these matches? Probably not, but I also know he's in his last active year. And I feel like from Tony Khan's perspective and Brian Danielson, you don't really want to say no in his last active year.
Yeah.
There was one thing I kind of wanted to bring up because we're in the middle of 2 retirement tours. One of them final, one of them just active. So I just like compare Sting and Brian Danielson's retirement tour. Like every time Sting's out, it's like, oh, this is the last time I'm gonna be here. Everyone cheer for Sting. Yay, he's a hero. And then Danielson's just getting battered and broken, and people are like tearing his eye out. And like I just think that's really funny that those are the 2 big retirement tours we have going on in AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, just what a way to build a monster too. Like Brody King kicking out at 1 after the Psycho knee, and then kicking out at 3.1 on the very end.
Oh, I didn't
The
even
the old
mention
Hulk
that.
Hogan move, man, where like you got the win, but just barely. So, yeah, Chandler and I were chatting about that before we went on air live to
Hmm.
tape. Oh God, I'm old. That's an old term. And like, yeah, I thought that was good. Like, kind of like Roosh, like popping back up there in that one match. Like, he wanted to keep going. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, definitely into the tournament. I'm happy they're talking about doing it next year already and what you got to do to get in it. Um, yeah, really great television, really, really entertaining. Left me very satisfied for sure.
So here's one last question about next year's Continental Classic. Do you think it'll either be A, like this year, and so whoever the Continental Champion is just automatically inserted into it and he has to defend it? Or next year, do you think they'll hear the criticism and go, okay, it's for a world title shot?
I think they'll keep it
I feel
tradition.
like they do too much stuff for world title shots. I kind of like the other way. Like, yeah, let's keep it its own thing. Maybe this is the only time that that belt is defended. Like, that'd be actually kind of dope.
Like the Owen.
Yeah.
Hmm, I'd be interested in that. Okay.
Yeah,
And
they
maybe
don't
if
parade those Owen Hart belts.
yeah. And
Well,
maybe
remember,
a few less tournaments throughout the year to make this a little more impactful too would be kind of cool.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Good episode. Any late breaking news or any interesting
We want to do highs and lows first.
yeah, we do.
I'll
Let's
do
do
I'll
that.
I'll do mine real quick because my high is definitely Daniel Garcia dancing in the corner to Eddie Kingston's chops. I felt like that was like a really big like, oh, this guy's got something in him. Like he got the chops, he was asking him for more, got more chops, asked for more. Eddie Kingston chopped him down to the corner, and he's still dancing. He's still Danny. So I loved that. And then I guess my low, and it's not even that bad. It's just I wish they didn't overbook the Julia Hart and Thunder Rosa return and all that because it really overshadowed Sky Black or Sky Blue. I'm gonna go with Sky Black. It really overshadowed her heel turn or her turn to the dark side or however you want to call it. So I would have just had one of those happen last week and then one of them happened this week. But it was a good episode all around. So that's my only low point.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
hard to pick a low spot up for me on this one because it was such a well-rounded episode. Uh, yeah, same thing though. I think if there was a low point, just kind of the awkwardness of that one segment, kind of, oh, it's Thunder Rosa, oh, it's Julie. Like, yeah, you say just almost too much spotlight going around on that one for sure. Huh?
Yeah.
How about you,
Um
Dave? What were your points?
yeah, nothing too terrible. They kind of hit all the spots I needed them to hit. Uh yeah, I guess my high point uh would probably have to be I think Tony Storm this week. Um with her fucking fudging her line about one of the two she'll face one of the two titless blind baldies.
That was pretty good.
That was my up. Um but yeah, man, the only down I might even have is I know the Brian Cage match like was a segue into the backstage segment, but I don't know if that match needed to happen. I would have liked maybe that time to be allocated. I know you guys thought the Texas match was perfect length. I think maybe a couple minutes could have went to it.
maybe not perfect length. I agree with you, Dave. It could add a couple more minutes onto it. I always would have
I
liked
don't.
a few more minutes of that.
I think they could have added a couple more doozies in there that really could have made it, that much better. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we needed the Brian Cage match. It was cool to have wrestling, but I don't think we needed it. Not that it was a bad thing, but I can't even remember the name of the jobber. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you could have just
obviously,
had you could have just had the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage just walk up to Lexi Nair backstage and have them be like, "So you won big at Ring of Honor Final Battle. What's next for you guys?" And then Keith Lee walks in. Like you could have easily done that.
Yep. Same result. um, but yeah, that's what I got. Cool. I guess.
I do have. There's one groundbreaking news story that came today. Dominic Mysterio referenced AEW on Twitter.
Yeah. What did you say, Chandler?
So I'll paint the picture for viewers and those that don't know. CM Punk's first match back will be at a live event. I want to say December 30th. I could be wrong, but it's going to be at a house show and it's going to be Dominic Mysterio. And for CM Punk to hype it up, he basically said, like, I've been waiting for 10, 15 years to punch this kid because CM Punk's original feud with Rey Mysterio involved Dominic. So that was CM Punk's tweet. He basically just said, I've been waiting 20 years to punch this kid. Can't wait to do it at the live event. Watch it. He's just selling it. And Dominic said, I hope you hit me with a punch like this at CM Punk, hashtag best in the world. And he posted a GIF of CM Punk in that 6-man tag from Dynamite right after he injured his foot, where he like jumped down and he like fell and he threw like a punch like that. And so, I mean, I know it's just a Twitter GIF, but holy crap, that's a pretty good like shot to fire. I didn't think they'd say anything like that.
Man, is Punk gonna get butt hurt?
I did see a joke where it was like Royal Rumble press conference 2024, and it was CM Punk at Brawl Out, and he was like, a dumb-headed or an empty-headed dumbass like Dominic Mysterio going into his business for himself on Twitter. I got guys like that in the locker room, so I just think it's funny. Like, this is why I love CM Punk in WWE, because they're just gonna like talk about all the AEW stuff, like tangentially, like, ooh, look at all that naughty stuff.
Yeah. Um, yeah, very, very interesting. Should be a cool little feud. I didn't realize they had history with Rey Mysterio back in the day.
It was like CM Punk's probably breakout feud in WWE. I can't remember if he fought Rey Mysterio or Jeff Hardy first. It was either or, but he cut really good promos. I mean, I think it was like he had a mask match with Rey Mysterio at Mania, and then they had a hair match, and then they had a hair versus mask match, and which is why CM Punk went bald for a bit. Like, it was pretty important beginning stuff for CM Punk back in the day. But
Yeah, that was back when he thought to be in WWE, he needed to put more muscle on, so he was a little more swole too. It was kind of weird to see him that way.
mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think this is really going to build to anything on TV or at a pay-per-view. I think this is just like, oh, we have history. So,
I like how another story I read. Tony Khan called Disco Inferno a parasite. Yeah, how do you guys feel? Like AEW is like under constant attack, like from everybody, like all the veterans that aren't there. Uh, they're pretty harsh. Like, is it justified?
I think it's a
Rick
little bit of
Bischoff,
I think it's a little bit of jealousy because AEW is doing really well now. I mean, I honestly can't speak. I wish I was alive for like the WWF, WCW, like Monday Night Wars, because I really would have wondered, like, is Vern Gagne like pissed about WCW and the NWO? Like, are all these old time bookers back then, were they mad about the Monday Night War and they were like, Stone Cold Steve Austin is killing the business, like Jim Cornette with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks nowadays. Like I'd be interested to see if either WCW or the WWF got this much flack in the olden days, but I don't think it's deserved. There are things to criticize about AEW. I try to actively criticize them, but there's also a lot of good stuff about AEW, like some of the best stuff in wrestling. So I don't know. I think it's just these old timers trying to get clicks on their podcast or their news article, because that's, you just say, I think like Kevin Nash had a feud with LA Knight, and then he said later in his podcast, like, I don't even know who the guy is. I just know he's over and he's getting a lot of clicks, and I kind of want a part of that. So I think people like Bubba Ray Dudley and Booker T and Road Dogg, all those guys, they say a lot of dumb stuff, but it's just to get people to click on their podcast. But I've never clicked on one of those guys' podcasts, so it hasn't worked for me.
Like the Kevin Nash one. It's pretty good. They talk about a lot more than wrestling.
It's hard not to like have a little respect for Kevin Nash, because as much as he was a politicking, backstage booking kind of guy, he's still funny, and he's Kevin Nash. Like,
Yeah, he definitely played a big part in the business as a whole. NWO, Click, all that.
Minor. Just kickstarted one of the biggest eras in wrestling. I'd say minor influence on the whole show. I think it was mostly Scott Hall. He did everything. Kevin Nash was just there.
Yeah. But yeah, I listened to the Disco Inferno and Conan podcast. Their Disco's really harsh on AEW, like really, really harsh. Conan's a little more forgiving, because he actually had a working relationship and like appeared on AEW a couple times, and they have a working relationship because Conan's the booker of AAA. So yeah, he's a little more reserved, but yeah, I don't like Inferno, hearing him the way he's just so like over the top to me.
I would say some praise I can give to WWE. They have a good eye on like who's actually a legend or who might just actually deserve a rub. They've never ever highlighted Disco Inferno ever. I think that should tell you all you need to know. Like, they've brought Jeff Jarrett back. They've brought San Martino back. They've just brought Punk back. They brought Warrior back. They brought Hart back. Like, all these people who hated the company or did awful things or whatever, but never Disco Inferno. Like, Disco Inferno's never getting into the WWE Hall of Fame, and he never should, because he like, what did he do?
Macho Man was just about to collab with WWE before he died.
Yep.
He filmed some kind of like commercial or something where he was like gray and old and like, ooh, like filmed a little, I can't remember what it was, video game or something, but yeah, he was even about to like get back in and be inducted and all that. So yeah, that says a lot. Like, they don't want it Disco Inferno. They don't want Buff Bagwell.
They hate Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell, like, in their eyes, I don't know if I agree with this, but Buff Bagwell is the reason why WCW failed in WWF, because he came in and he had his match with Booker T, and they were like, oh, that sucked. But it's like, well, you have a Raw crowd, and you've told your Raw crowds for years that WCW sucks. So when you stop Raw right before the main event and say, okay, now it's WCW, of course they're going to not like it. Of course they're not going to think it's cool. Nowadays, if you just had the AEW champ stroll up to Raw and have a main event match, like, people would lose their minds. But that's today.
Yeah. What a bummer. Yeah, they fired Buff Bagwell immediately after that match.
Well, I think he had a bit of an ego. Like, he had his mom call in and be like, oh, he doesn't want to work this match. He doesn't want to lose. Like, could you imagine being a professional wrestler and having your mom call in and be like, "Oh, he doesn't want to work this match. He doesn't want to lose." Like, buddy, you're 34.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, and I think the other thing that kind of got my attention news wise was apparently there's no more working relationship or plans for Mercedes Moné to come into AEW. Uh, Pretty big bummer, if you ask me.
Just when the women's division was fixed, you missed out, Monet. But
Yep.
I think I've said it before. There's a lot of reports that WWE are bringing in a lot of women that you don't expect coming soon. And the fact that the AEW talks have fallen through with Monet kind of tells me all I need to know. Because, like, it hasn't been perfect, but WWE have been booking their women pretty well this last year. Like, not great, but pretty well. And with Triple H being in control and Vince no longer being in control, I think they'll finally see Sasha Banks as the star that she is. Maybe they'll even let her keep the Mercedes Moné name. So, be interested if she went back to WWE. But it is still sad that it fell through with AEW. I wonder, like, what happened.
Yeah. Not sure, but I think AEW can uh, make the most of what they have. I don't think they really need her uh, after especially this episode of Collision, like cramming uh, that much women's wrestling. Like, I think they're off to a better start, for sure. I'm more invested. I'm more intrigued. I want to know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't think they need Monet, honestly. I think they need Britt Baker back. They got Thunder Rosa back now. They need Jamie Hayter, and I think they could really get that women's division all running on all cylinders. So yeah, they've done a great job of building up Sky Black. Julia Hart now is actually a credible threat. Yeah, I think they're doing great. They're even building up Abaddon now. So yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
Riho.
Riho.
The street fight made Statlander at least look like a badass. So, like, I want to see her next match after that.
Yep. I want a little more Red Velvet back on Dynamite and Collision too. I'm a big fan. I think it's good to have her back, and yeah, I'm a pretty big fan. So yeah. Anything interesting from you two?
I think you said all the interesting ones. Rosen 7 coming up soon. I'm still
Ooh.
excited about that. I don't have it in front of me, but maybe next episode we could go over the full card if there's time.
Yeah,
But I'm
do
super
that.
excited about that. I think we're going to pop Chandler's cherry at that show.
Yeah, I've never been to Prestige. So
It's
I'm looking
fun.
forward to it.
What an experience. Yeah, I checked out that card too myself, and man, we're getting to treat Sky Black. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
Amira
yeah,
versus Drexel in an
Drexel.
intergender hardcore match.
Ooh, intergender. That'll be my first one of those.
It's anything like the
Uh,
Taya Valkyrie one we saw. Oh my god.
God,
Pretty good.
dude.
Yeah, it was
Ooh.
excellent.
Speaking of women in AEW, where's Taya Valkyrie been? Is she injured or?
She had a shit match with Britt Baker that got a lot of flack from a lot of people, and then she just disappeared after that. Remember that match, Chad, where she botched her own finisher?
Yeah.
Yeah. She couldn't do her wall or Valhalla, whatever.
Wasn't it the same move
Yeah,
as what's it?
Jade,
Yeah,
the
Jade
Jaded.
Cargill.
Someone else does it too.
Apparently she
But
was at
yeah,
Ring of Honor.
okay, that's what they're doing with her. Again, if I didn't have to pay $10 a month, I'd be watching a lot more Ring of Honor. For sure. I'd be watching all of Ring of Honor, every show they had, probably, if it was just a quick hour weekly
Oh heck yeah!
thing.
Apparently, she was in WWE. I didn't even know that. She must have been in NXT.
Frankie Monet.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yep. Very brief. In fact, right when she got fired, is when she got booked at the Prestige show that we were at, and the the guy Drexel, who's having the match with Amira, uh, he, he had a picture of her, and he's like, "Will you sign it,
Frankie
Frankie Monet?"
Monet. He ended up stapling the picture to his face by the end.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so funny. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Uh,
Apparently, she got in some controversy at the Ring of Honor show because some fan stole her glasses, and she tweeted out like, "Hey, it's not cool to steal people's stuff," and the fan said like, "Making well over 6 figures, but can't let a paying fan have Five Below glasses, SMH," and she's all like, "Just don't take things that belong to you." So it's kind of like it's a Twitter beef over stolen sunglasses. So that's what she's up to.
That's not cool to take a performer's stuff at all. Like,
Mm-mm.
it's not like a
No,
souvenir.
I mean it's a souvenir when
Uh,
they throw it to the crowd. So like that's different.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, let's see. We'll be doing a prediction episode for World's End, coming up before we know it, and
All two
um,
matches.
yeah, all two.
But they better
Um,
start announcing some soon and like
Yeah, that's gonna be a really quick episode.
mhm. And I'm going to remind everyone out there, if we can hit 100 subs, I'm going to eat the whole contents of a Death Nut challenge one time.
Man.
Chad
So,
and
so when that
Like,
happens,
I
that would
don't,
probably be our last episode because Dave will be dead.
yeah, you'll want to see
yeah,
that. Remember, Chad
no, I
and I
don't.
only got to level 3 and we both tapped out. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
and we spaced that out. He's saying wants to do it all in one gulp, right?
Well, I don't know if I can fit all 5 bags in my mouth. How much are in each bag?
It's like a
Yeah,
handful. Your
yeah.
mouth is full when you eat the whole bag. So
Okay,
I would at least
maybe I'll
recommend
like,
doing one bag at a time.
man, I want to go big.
Maybe 2.
Uh, we'll see. Yeah, maybe I'll do the hottest 3 at once.
Well,
Uh,
you're going to see a
yeah, I
man
can
die
do it.
live on television. You're going to miss that? Come on. You better subscribe for that.
Are you not entertained?
Exactly.
What were you gonna do, Chad, for 100?
I was gonna buy a bottle of the bomb and just put a bunch of it on a chip or a wing or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel
You
kind
got
of
a thing to do
emasculated
too.
now.
And you're like, oh, I'm just gonna the bomb.
Yeah.
That sounds hot too.
Yeah, oh no, it sucks, but I don't know. Those nuts were pretty awful, and I never did make it all the way to the end.
Well, I just had one of the level 4 and one of the level 5 nuts. Those were miserable. They ruined my night when I ate those. So I couldn't imagine eating a whole pack, let alone multiple of the packs. Like, I think you might die, Dave. Genuinely. Genuinely.
It'll make for good content. That's all I care about.
Anything for the clicks. Make sure to like and
Yep.
subscribe, gang. We're
Yeah,
not
get
here
us
for
to
a,
99. Let's just stop there.
we're not here
Yeah.
for a long time. We're here for a good time.
Cool. Well, I think we've covered everything that we wanted to get to. Yeah, we'll be back at you with the Dynamite review. I'm not sure what they have announced for that yet, but yeah.
They announced some stuff. I could run it down. So the last couple these are the last Continental Classic matches ever for this year. Mox and Jay White, Swerve and Roosh, and then Lethal and Briscoe for Dynamite. And then Collision is Claudio and Danielson. Garcia and King, and then Andrade and Kingston. So now
Cool.
those will all be. I'm looking forward to all of those. And then I know they announced the Riho and Saraya winner gets Tony Storm for Dynamite. They announced that MJF and we'll hear from MJF and Samoa Joe. So
Collision will get Thunder Rosa and Abaddon versus Julia and Sky.
and then the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass and Top Flight 6-man trios match. That'll be good.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. Good stuff. Cool. Well, I think that about does it. Again, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. If you have any questions you want us to ask during our episode or maybe at the end of it, we'd love to answer them on air. So, yeah. Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chandler. And have a good one. Bye.
Peace.
Bye bye.